another in-state Power 5 team. All the pieces in place on a Sunday night from Iowa City. Drake and Iowa off and rolling with the Hawkeyes controlling the tip and right to the rim with Molly.
Just a little bit of a frustrating start there for Iowa to get no bodies on anyone and a couple of attempts for Drake.
Both coaches echoed they feel like this is going to be a high-scoring game. Both teams play at tempo. Could be headed for the 70s or 80s in this game. Into Caitlin Clark, who zigzags
for Drake because Miller has done rebounding, blocking for this team, but she'd been off to a really slow start offensively.
Hop into the lane, another easy basket with Becker underneath.
Yeah, you see Courtney Becker just establishing that seal inside, able to lob it over the top with no help.
Martin, who had that last basket for Iowa, no points in the loss against Kansas State. Only shut out twice all of last year. Drake shut her out, but not tonight.
Just like if it were a man-to-man defense.
Dizzying is how you described it when watching it on tape. Stulke and Clark away with it. Unlimited range for Caitlin Clark, and she goes in.
If you like scoring, this is a fantastic game. Both teams averaging in the 80s. This is going to be a high-paced game. Great offense to defend because there is constant motion. Right now, we've really seen the Bulldogs get everything off of movement and cuts.
And a free-flowing offense. Martin knocks down the baseline pop.
Lisa Bluter looking fence.
This has turned into the mic control.
Anna Miller was 1 of 18 on the season. Now she has already 2 buckets in this game.
And the three-point shooting for Drake has been really good, but no hit from McCauley here. And Clark going one-on-one on the cross. Oh, beautiful. Bird can't hit, followed from Becker into the hands of Clark. Foot on the gas in this game to start, and there is a whistle.
We almost made it to the under 5. Drake has just thrived off of the bounce. And then here's the transition game that we did not see from Iowa in the loss to Kansas State. Change of speed, Hezzy right to left, right to the rack. And that's something Caitlin Clark again mentioned. I didn't attack like that towards the end of the Kansas State game.
Kim, that was the first time since 2016 that Iowa had been held under 60 points at home. We're not to the under 5 yet. I think it's safe to say that's not going to happen again in this game. She can score down there too. Clark off the ball screen, knocks it down from the mid-range.
She finds that sweet spot and pulls up.
And Berg lost the handle. Here comes Clark. No numbers for Iowa yet. Late arriving. Driving kick, Davis 3. Knocks it down.
Another
coach has told us that if you're a fan of the ball going in the hoop, you are going to like this game on a Sunday night from Carver. Hawkeye Davis with a dead-eye 3, Iowa. Baranchuk.
Yeah, what a fabulous job she's done. So familiar with the conference. Was a 3-time All-Missouri Valley Conference first-team player herself at UNI. So this is really home for her. I thought it was important that Iowa come out with high pressure.
Hawkeyes have made 4 in a row and a foul. Iowa starting this game 75% from the floor to begin. Inside 10 to shoot. Clark, an open look. And a little heavy on it, but an offensive rebound, and that's Miller can't get it right back. The rebound secured for a falter. Clark in there with a block. Miller.
19 per game, so something to monitor for them with how quickly that motion offense is. John Wooden said, be quick, but don't hurry.
Well, they've definitely played with pace to begin the year, and there's a turnover.
Anybody who steps on the floor can make it. They almost play positionless. Anyone can post up, anyone can shoot the 3.
Falter with the takeaway, takes it herself, and heads to the free throw line.
Back to the way they like to play in transition, and it starts with defense, right? It starts with creating a turnover or securing the rebound, and that is what allows you to get out and run, and we've just seen the Iowa guards be really aggressive going to the rim tonight.
That was a part of it for Lisa Bluter too, right? Coming off game
right there, Anna Miller knock it down from 3, but it's certainly an area that Iowa can attack is on the inside tonight.
That is a great sign for Drake. Miller has struggled from the floor to begin this season. Her first outside hit. Drive and kick. And that goes down really, really well. Back to the rim. Dinnebier can't hit. A 13-3 run for Iowa continues.
This Iowa offense really flowing nicely. A falter, drive and kick, extra pass after Feuerbach, and then Caitlin Clark in rhythm. We never saw her find that rhythm. You can't.
No.
Hey, the best shooters in the world at any level are going to have off nights. And what Iowa's trying to figure out is how can we win basketball games when that happens. It looks like they may not have to worry about Caitlin Clark's.
3 for Drake. Anna Brown off the bench for the Bulldogs.
And we said it, any player in a blue jersey can spot up. You have to be ready to defend the perimeter. Anybody who's out there needs a little bit more and not allowing them to get those easy looks to the rim.
Well, Iowa could have held for 1, but for 8 to begin the season. So she drains 1. Now 5 on the clock. Martin energized by that 3. 2 on the clock. Davis at the horn, and that counts. Held under 60 against Kansas State. The offense is back for the Hawkeyes.
Iowa has erupted for 37 points. Molly Davis with the headband. She knows it. Iowa on fire.
Caitlin Clark looked like herself in that first quarter.
Yeah, we were expecting a bounce back from the loss against Kansas State. She's up to 11 points. What I liked about her approach to this game was playing from the inside out. We saw her get to the basket, attack, and then that's her. And again, this is a great sign for Coach Pullman and Drake because she is one of their top scorers from last season and had really been struggling offensively. She's been efficient.
Martin, same spot.
Sometimes you could get whistled for a foul, slapping down on the ball like that, but she didn't get too much contact there. 12 points off of turnovers for Iowa early in this game.
They forced 8 Drake turnovers, and they protected it. That's just their 4th.
And she's their veteran. Coach Pullman talked to us about how her practice approach has changed.
Added enthusiasm in practice has her off to a great start. A falter with the takeaway. 2 on 2. And Clark can't turn it into 3. Stolke puts it away. Drake again, a 40% three-point shooting team. But with Stolke, this is a small ball Drake team. So the question for Lisa Bluter, how much can our other bigs outside of Stolke play?
Yeah, and with all the perimeter firepower and the movement going on, you have to be ready to close out quickly to shooters.
Now there's Kate Martin.
Yeah, really nice seal for Grace Berg with 4 out on the perimeter. Able to get the defender on her back and call for that entry pass.
And the help there on Clark. Quick hands for Hawthorne. Hawthorne staying with her, but Clark bullies her way in.
6-foot guard, good length, good strength in her finishing ability.
Davis came down, hammered it away for Iowa. Davis says, "Nah, I'll bring this back out." Iowa still at the 70% shooting clip. And an arm bar called on Anna Brown. Number 1 on the Drake.
All the coaches for continuing to schedule these games because these mid-major teams, UNI, Drake, these are some of the best. Getting here for tip time was in question as the Nebraska volleyball game was letting out.
For McCauley 3 that's long. Here's Marshall pushing tempo. Davis off little ball fake. And underneath, foul called. Feuerbach headed
do it. Everyone seems a bit more confident in their abilities and roles tonight.
Well, it's helped having this player back. Feuerbach help out Caitlin Clark, of course, a player that missed last year with injury. A really cool moment.
Molly Davis, but McCauley had a couple inches on her, able to just shoot over the top.
6.6 rebounds from McCauley, coming off her career high 27 points in the win against Iowa State. Hands there. Martin fought through it. And Iowa fighting on the glass with an hand. Jump ball? No thanks. Let's go for the and one. Goodman shooting one more when we come back with the Hawkeyes up by 12. Hitchhike adventure here.
This is a first.
Finish out of the timeout for Anna Miller. I really can't believe that.
First time. Very impressed with the scene so far.
I'll say welcome. It's a beautiful place, isn't it?
It's gorgeous.
Called heaven for a reason. Iowa out shooting 65%. Drake at 55%. Only 12 combined shots for the bigs for Iowa in the loss against Kansas State. Big emphasis on getting it to the post players. Marshall can't.
Inside, finishes through a couple defenders there.
Berg up to 8 points in this first half. A couple in double digits. Clark and Martin for the Hawkeyes. And Miller from that same spot can't hit this time. No Clark on the floor here for Iowa, going back into the post and steps there for Sharon Goodman on the travel.
And that's one.
Kim, that possession's over. Unless Dinnebeer goes and gets a floor burn.
Yep.
Goodman.
Recognizing that and lobbing it in.
Quick fire, no hit for Brown. Clark tears it away. Martin already into double digits. And an offensive foul. Martin grimacing. She went down. Another toughness player. Yeah,
she is really exciting to watch. One of the most aggressive point guards I've seen. Can really get after it on the defensive end. Corner spot. Somebody can be open in that matchup zone. Another turnover for the Bulldogs.
Clark was just stepping into that range, but gave up for a better shot. And the takeaway. Another turnover. Iowa can go over their total from Thursday night on this trip. And McCabe does.
Threes off of the bench. Iowa continues to fire. It's defense to offense. Maybe not many better at Caitlin Clark than pushing the ball in transition. She could have taken that shot. Gets 2 feet in the paint, but finds an extra point from 3 from her teammate Taylor McCabe, which is a viral TikTok. And she played it at practice today. Girls were getting down.
Unconfirmed if she was walking through the woods on TikTok.
Yeah, the well-lit streets.
The woods in New York is a back alley somewhere. One of the few times tonight Iowa slowed it down in the half court. Clark probing. Off 1 foot. It's pure. Into the post. Turnaround for Miller. And the shot clock is off for Clark and the Hawkeyes. Up by 21 points. Clark was thinking about the logo. And scoops it in at the horn. 20 minutes in Iowa City. 64 on the board.
The Kansas State loss is a thing of the past. Caitlin Clark's problem in the first half was turnovers. So I did like that they were a bit more methodical and slowed down in that opening possession, even though they didn't score at the end of it.
Think we'll see more of that from Drake?
I think so. I think they have to be Katie Dinnebeer. We know she likes to get after it on the defensive end, gets her hands on a lot of balls.
Davis attacks quickly, and this is...
And that was a situation where you forget about the inbounder. Iowa was playing nobody on the ball, and they didn't locate Berg, who passed it in and relocated to the corner.
Davis drops in a tray. Molly Davis was telling us that her dad sews up that headband, retightens it to fix her head, so it's a good thing he's in town this week. And a short for Marshall.
Today.
You're kind of curious, you know, the undershirt has to match the jersey. Does the headband have to? Apparently not.
Yeah, now I'm a little bit confused.
There's Clark.
In the locker room for Drake.
Didn't get back on Kate Martin.
Grace Berg, again in transition, that secondary break, getting herself to the paint and kicking out to an open Dinnebeer.
And so in what's been a high possession game, Drake has it to 16 points. Well, Marshall passes on the 3. Out for Clark. Money.
Chaotic matchup zone on one end and then just constant motion on the other. So you earn your breaks on this team.
I think back to one of the early post players Jenny Baranchek had at Drake, Sarah Ryan. Looked like she was just running baseline to baseline the entire game. Lisa Bluter telling her team, hey, let's see what we can do to get Berg in foul trouble. Maybe keep her off the floor a little bit tonight.
So far that hasn't happened, and she's really starting to catch a rhythm here offensively.
And Berg up to 15 points.
She looks much bigger in person than on TV.
You've learned Iowa is as beautiful as you expect. Kate Martin a little bigger than you expected. Offensive rebound, and that's way off on the 3. IAMs can't hit. And Marshall, who had that terrific march from shooting outside, still trying to get it going from out there to start this year. Late clock, down to 10. A falter all the way to the rim, and it rolls down.
Welcome back to Iowa City. Well, we know Caitlin Clark can score the ball. She's up to 22, but the vision, the passing, one of the most underrated aspects of her game, in my opinion. She's gotten into the paint, she's kicked out, she's had some nice lobs into the bigs inside. She is up to
rite of passage. You come to Iowa, you get to see Caitlin Clark, and you also get to show off something at our next step ball.
Oh gosh, yeah, this is a first. Something was just delivered to us at the table.
And that rolls down, rebound for a falter. And Clark looking to go. Oh, and the pass off target.
That would have been a nice highlight. Big contact, the lower body contact. But this is a very good ice cream cone. The swirl of the chocolate and vanilla.
There was, oh, you just dropped your carver cone. Oh,
I'm
no.
Sorry, the cone tipped over. It's on the broadcast table.
Can't drop it in, rebound Clark. That was a big part of the message, though, for Iowa was, fighting a little bit of fatigue as Clark, those two specifically, to get Iowa back to where they're used to playing, and they have.
And Caitlin Clark also took that accountability. She said, as the point guard, as a leader for this team, I need to find ways to get my teammates more involved, to put them in opportune situations.
Strokes in another one. Caitlin.
Really nice look. We know that this Drake team can shoot at top 10 in the nation and made threes per game. Dinnebeer, just a physical guard. You can see the strength on her, can just find her way to that rim.
And you can see it with Drake. They're going to be a contender in the Missouri Valley. And they picked second behind UNI. Illinois State. Belmont also up there in the pre. And Dinnebeer had it blocked. 2 seconds on the clock for Clark, and she won't take it. On that final
team that has looked a constant right now is South Carolina. I mean, wow, what an opening couple of games Dawn Staley has put together after losing her entire starting lineup from last season.
We mentioned NC State, UConn, of course, opponents of Iowa last year in non-conference. Right after the races from there.
Yeah, I mean, there's really no cause for alarm for any sort of loss at this point of the season. When you think of the Kansas State loss, I mean, this looks like a perfect opportunity where it was a bit of a wake-up call for Iowa. We have seen a resounding response today. And how about Kate Martin has just been on fire. She was scoreless in that game.
And 9 on the clock, and through the back door, that's tipped. Sharon Goodman with hands on it. And Clark looking for runners with her, and she finds Goodman streaking.
Possession for Drake. They stayed patient. They got the curl, and then it sucked the defense in, and that's what allowed Fornshell to find that opening on the perimeter.
And coming into this game, the 3 players shooting over 40% from 3 for Drake. As Martin continuing
to find success on the movement. Ava Hawthorne that time.
Hawthorne from Ames. You got to think that meant a lot to her beating Iowa State the other night. And Martin was feeling Berg there who puts it down.
Well, Connor, we talked to Lisa Bluter this afternoon about who are some other pieces that are needing to step up, and she said Kate Martin. Can she do it again? Kate Martin.
Yeah. Big eye-wide statement from Lisa Bluter today. Martin has come out here tonight shooting like Caitlin Clark.
Iowa Hawkeyes are lighting up the nets. Kate Martin has had a tremendous offensive output and a deep one from Caitlin.
Chances. Three-point shooting was a big point of emphasis, too. This will be an easy one for Clark. And two more. Found Dinnebeer on the back end for Drake. Clark wants more. She's got more.
Come on now.
She wants more from the crowd.
Caitlin Clark getting everything tonight. Defense to offense in the passing lane. And we know she could do a little bit of this. A couple steps out. Caitlin Clark, absolute cash. The team has 13 tonight. Caitlin Clark with 5 of those. Talk about a complete 180.
When Iowa came in, even with the 3-1 start, worst three-point shooting team in the Big Ten to begin the year, which was surprising. Leaving no doubt about it tonight. They kept it in-house. Have some of the players from that team still involved in the program. Becca Hittner is a graduate assistant. Jackie Stiles, player of the year in the Missouri Valley several times.
High-collared blazer, like she was styling back then. She still is. But wow, loving the fits.
So when we look back at fame in 20 years, history will probably be kind to her in that way again, don't you think?
Yeah, she goes with the kicks now. We got the Nikes on, I believe.
An offensive foul on laying on the floor in the middle of him. Let everybody was like, get up, dance with us.
I was tempted to get in that circle. I'm not going to lie. It's a good song. It's a catchy song.
Oh, you were like the New Yorker in me is telling me.
It was tough to stay on the
I got to be mid-dance floor right now. But Baranchek, the old head coach at Drake, and Clark both went to Dowling Catholic, so they had a close relationship, still do to this day, even with Baranchek now the head coach at Oklahoma.
Yeah, Caitlin from West Des Moines said she grew up as a fan of Drake men's and women's basketball. She really looked up to that program.
Yeah, I grew up there before she went to Drake. She said, that was my idol, Becca Hittner.
Yeah, Caitlin said, when she was in middle school, they actually would sneak her into the practices. And I was like, I just know that Caitlin was probably a 10-year-old getting 20 points against high school students.
Well, that's short for Fornshell. And Iowa tries to add to what's been a 109-point night. And substitution timeout. Jada Jimfeet. This is a player right here for Iowa that could see some time and some big moments as the year goes on. Taylor McCabe, Nebraska Player of the Year as a high schooler. I've seen her get some good run in this game tonight. Hit an outside shot earlier. And she's caught up on the defense of Hawthorne. 2 to shoot. Iowa's got to get it to the rim, and that's short.
Can really shoot it, maybe not as well as they typically do. They have 8 threes on the night.
Some fun words about Missouri Valley Conference basketball. She said it is must-watch TV. Well, that'll make Associate Commissioner Jack Watkins, who's in charge of the TV over there, really happy. It's a good selling point. Watch some Valley games this year. On the cross, pure ball call right to the rim. One of the constants, though, has been this Bulldogs program. Always a postseason contender in women's basketball. Johnson down the baseline. Crowd wanted her to get a shot. Instead, gave it up. In and out. Rebound O'Grady. And that almost did it. Now this will go back to Iowa. And the Hawkeyes should be able to dribble it out with 7.6 left.
Yeah, bounce back and then some. I mean, Drake is a much better team than what appears. Right now, they were 3-0 coming into this game. They just caught Iowa on a tough bounce back night.
A loose Iowa team, all smiles after 113 on the board, led by Caitlin Clark's 35. Number 2 looking like number 2. Hawkeyes bouncing back 4-1 on the season, beating Drake 113-90. We'll wrap it up, including a visit with Caitlin Clark after this.